Hey everybody, this is Gainer Milky at Charisma Inc. Today we're going to talk about the 6 C's of social media. We're going to pull the lens back, and instead of getting down into the weeds of the specific platforms, we're just going to talk about overall strategy. So one is channel, and that means which channels do you need to be on where your target audience is actually looking for the information that you have. Second C is going to be current insights. So social is changing all the time. We need to be prepared to shift our strategy by looking at what our own insights are from metrics that we can look at on the different channels that we're at. Those could be engagement statistics, they could be audience growth, they could be overall algorithm that we're seeing, or data points that we glean from reputable sources. So those are all things to consider instead of just keep doing what you're already doing, or really not understanding how your audience engages on a specific platform. Third C is cash. So social media has actually become a great marketplace for selling. Even if you're not directly selling through like a TikTok shop or something like that, definitely it has become a resource for people to do research, and then they want to be able to take an action, which can turn into cash and conversions. So you'll want to make sure that you take that into account when you're planning sales funnels, is how will potential customers interact with your company or your brand or your product on social, and how does that fit into the overall sales cycle and lead to cash. So the other piece of this is conversions or commerce, and that's actually making the sale. So that's whether that's on social media or offline. Is there any crossover there between social media and being able to make a purchase directly from your social channel? Are you driving them to your website from there to make the sale, or are you keeping it contained? If that's the case and you're keeping it contained on the different social platforms, then you'll need to take that strategy into account, because it's going to be a little bit different for each channel that you are selling on as well. So community is our next C, and that's critical. I think that one of the greatest missteps that influencers make when it comes to creating social media posts and content is that they're not really culling a community that they can then move over to an online community space or their website or even a group on a specific social channel. Instead, it's just a lot of posting of content that's not really creating opportunities for engagement or community or getting engaged in other communities, and that can be a very powerful tool for building your audience. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is content, which a lot of you maybe have expected that would be first, but I think the strategy will drive the content when it comes to social. So think about your content in a different way for each of the platforms that you're on, and this is becoming more and more relevant, that we can't just use the same content on each platform. We need to make sure that we customize it, and especially on platforms that are visual, so Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, we want to make sure that we're using video, high quality images, and there are things that are capturing attention that are still relevant to your target audience and the type of information that you're trying to get across. And then the last point on content is the great debate on using AI for it. I'm a proponent of utilizing it where it makes sense, but if you're a thought leader or an influencer, you should be generating a lot of your own content and not relying on AI, because you don't necessarily own that depending on the platform that you're using. And also, it can be very inauthentic unless you make it your own. So just something to keep in mind and explore as you're exploring AI content generation. And we'll dive into that a little bit more later on. But those are our 6 C's of social media. And hopefully that was a useful overview. It can help you with your strategy. But we do have a blog on it at charismainc.com on the Count on Charisma blog. So check that out. And good luck with all of the C's on social media.